Imagine you spend 40 years of your life doing everything right. You save your money, you invest it wisely, and you build a nest egg of over $1.5 million. You've won the game. But just a decade into retirement, that comfortable feeling starts to fade. A cold panic sets in as you watch your savings drain away faster than you ever imagined. It isn't just some scary story. It's a real and growing fear, even for some of the wealthiest retirees. They're falling victim to a handful of silent wealth killers that work under the surface to dismantle even the most carefully built retirement plans. Most people think going broke in retirement only happens if you're reckless with your money, buying fancy sports cars or going on endless cruises. But the truth is a lot more complicated. The real dangers aren't just about what you buy, they're about surprise costs, living a lot longer than you planned, and just plain bad luck with the market's timing. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the four silent killers that can turn a multi-million-dollar retirement dream into a financial nightmare. Number 1. The six-figure healthcare surprise. The single biggest threat to your retirement savings is the one most people dangerously underestimate: healthcare. You might be setting aside money for your regular doctor's visits and prescriptions, but the true cost is a quiet monster hiding in the background. While many people don't have to pay a premium for Medicare Part A, which covers your hospital care, it's Part B for outpatient services that delivers the sticker shock. The standard monthly premium for Part B in 2026 has jumped to $202.90, a noticeable increase from $185 in 2025. On top of that, the annual deductible for Part B also rose to $283 for 2026. But honestly, those numbers are just the tip of the iceberg. They don't even begin to cover the brutal reality of a major health crisis, or the big one, long-term care. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, a stunning 70% of people who turn 65 today will need some kind of long-term care down the road, and the costs are just astronomical. The latest data from CareScout shows the national median cost for a private room in a nursing home was $127,750 per year in 2024. A semi-private room wasn't much better, with a median annual cost of $111,325. Just stop and think about that. A 5-year stay in a nursing home could easily vaporize more than $500,000 of the money you worked your whole life to save. The real danger here is the gap between what people think will happen and what actually does. Financial planners say it all the time. People consistently fail to plan for these massive healthcare costs. There's a common belief that Medicare will cover everything, but it doesn't. That misunderstanding is a ticking time bomb in a multi-million-dollar portfolio. Plus, healthcare costs almost always rise much faster than the cost of living adjustments that Social Security provides. So every single year, your medical bills get more expensive while your ability to pay for them gets weaker. It's a perfect storm of rising premiums, devastating long-term care bills, and a deep misunderstanding of the risks, making healthcare the number one reason a seven-figure retirement can completely evaporate. Number 2, the longevity paradox: living too long. The second silent killer is a strange one. The wonderful gift of a long life is now one of retirement's biggest financial risks. Thanks to healthier living and incredible medical advances, Americans are living longer than ever. A 65-year-old man today can expect to live to around 84, and a 65-year-old woman to about 87. But for wealthier retirees, life expectancy is often even longer. Financial planners are now telling their high net worth clients to plan on living to 95 or even 105. This longer timeline completely shatters the old rules of retirement. For decades, the 4% rule was the gold standard. It said you could take out 4% of your savings in your first year of retirement, adjust that amount for inflation each year, and you'd have a very high chance of your money lasting for 30 years. But that rule gets a lot riskier if you need your money to last 35 or 40 years. Living longer makes every other financial threat worse, especially your exposure to the stock market's ups and downs over a much longer period. Because of this new reality, the whole conversation around how much you can safely withdraw from your savings has changed. While some argue the 4% rule can still work, many experts are now pushing for a more cautious approach. For example, recent Morningstar research for 2026 suggests a starting withdrawal rate of just 3.9% to have a 90% chance of your money lasting 30 years. Some financial advisors now suggest starting as low as 3.5% just to be safe. You can see this anxiety in how retirees are behaving. One recent study found that retired couples with savings were withdrawing only about 2.1% of their money each year. They're so afraid of running out of money, what experts call longevity risk, that they're living way more frugally than they need to. The longer you live, the more years of inflation your portfolio has to battle, and the more time there is for something to go financially wrong. Your wealth might buy you more years of life, but it also means your money needs to have the stamina for a marathon, not a sprint. Number 3. The market timing nightmare. The third silent killer is all about being in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's called sequence of returns risk, and it highlights the devastating damage a market downturn can cause if it happens right when you retire. When you start taking money out, the order of your investment returns suddenly matters a whole lot. Here's an easy way to think about it. Imagine two retirees, each with a $1.5 million portfolio. Retiree A quits her job and retires into a bull market. Her portfolio goes up 10% in the first year. Even after she withdraws $60,000 for living expenses, her balance actually grows to over $1.58 million. She's pulling money from a portfolio that's getting bigger. Now think about retiree B. He retires right before a big market crash, and his portfolio loses 10% in the first year. His $1.5 million drops to $1.35 million. When he pulls out the same $60,000, his balance sinks to $1.29 million. Even if the market comes roaring back the next year, retiree B may never catch up. He was forced to sell his assets when they were cheap just to get the cash he needed, which permanently hobbles his portfolio's ability to recover. That's sequence risk in a nutshell. The first few years of retirement are the most financially fragile. A market crash when you're 45 is a buying opportunity. A market crash when you're 66 and you've just started spending your life savings can be a point of no return. It locks in your losses and cripples your portfolio's future. It's a risk that is totally out of your control, but has the power to sink a seemingly perfect retirement plan right from the start. Number 4. The psychological trap in financial shocks. The last wealth killer is a mix of your own psychology and unexpected financial hits. Most people picture rich retirees blowing through their cash, but the research shows the opposite is often true. There's something called the retirement consumption puzzle, where even wealthy retirees cut their spending way back. After a lifetime of saving and accumulating, the mental switch to actually spending that money feels wrong and scary. They become so afraid of their money running out that they hoard it, living a frugal life that doesn't match their bank account. It might seem smart, but it means they never get to enjoy the retirement they worked so hard for. This fear of spending is often tied to a fear of the unknown, and those fears aren't totally baseless. While they may not be splurging on luxuries, they are vulnerable to unplanned financial shocks that can drain their savings fast. This could be a gray divorce that happens late in life, forcing a couple to split assets that were meant to support one household. It could be the sudden need to support adult children or grandkids who are struggling financially. Or it could be something as simple as a major uninsured home repair. One study showed that about a third of retirees face unexpected spending needs. All of this gets worse with the slow, steady grind of inflation. While the official inflation rate might look manageable from year to year, Its effect over decades is brutal. A small cost of living adjustment to your Social Security might feel like a help, but if your personal costs, especially for things like healthcare, are rising much faster, you're still losing financial ground every year. So while the issue isn't always wild spending, the combination of being too scared to spend on yourself, being forced to spend on life's surprises, and the silent tax of inflation creates the fourth path to going broke. Retiring with over $1.5 million is a huge accomplishment. It should be the beginning of a secure and happy new chapter in your life. But as we've seen, that wealth doesn't come with an ironclad guarantee. It's vulnerable to forces that are quiet, often underestimated, and mostly out of your control. The massive, unpredictable cost of healthcare and long-term care can wipe out a nest egg all by itself. The gift of a longer life creates a tough math problem, forcing your savings to last for 30 or even 40 years and making the old rules of thumb obsolete. The sequence of returns risk means a bad market in your first few years of retirement can do damage you can't undo. And finally, the psychology of money, mixed with life's expensive surprises and the slow burn of inflation, can either leave you paralyzed with fear or drain your accounts when you're not looking.